Welcome to Death Save Pinball. Today we're going to be installing a custom shooter rod on my Data East hook. Installing a new shooter rod is actually really easy, but if you don't know how to do it, hopefully I'll be able to help you today. Now I already have somewhat of a custom shooter rod on my hook machine. It's not really that custom, it's just an old school brass shooter rod. But I thought the gold kind of matched the game and I really didn't want to change it. But when I got Indiana Jones and realized that there was no custom shooter rod for Indiana Jones, I thought the gold would look a little bit better on Indy, and I figured I'd put a skull on the hook machine. Since it's a pirate game, there's a big skull on the back of Captain Hook's ship, and there's Skull Rock and Neverland. I thought the skull shooter rod would fit pretty well. I really wish somebody would do a custom shooter rod that had Captain Hook's hook coming out of the end and he pulled the hook. I think that would be really cool. And I got this shooter rod from Ken over at pinballshooterrods.com, so if you like it and you want to put it on your machine, go head over to pinballshooterrods.com and pick one up for yourself. So the first step, like we do in every one of these videos, I think it's kind of an unspoken rule at this point, turn the machine off, power it off. Next up, we're going to want to open up the machine and take off the glass. Now that we have the glass removed, go ahead and take a rag and just clog the shooter lane so all the balls don't come flying out. You can take the balls out if you want. This is just kind of the technique I always use because it's fast and easy. And then go ahead and just lift the play field, pull it out, and put it all the way up, just so you have complete access to the inside of your machine. Now that we have the play field lifted up, we're going to go ahead and take off the old shooter rod. We're going to start off by taking off the black rubber tip. So just kind of, it's a little stuck on there. You just gotta pull it off just like that. Now this is where it gets kind of tricky. You want to be really careful while doing this because the springs and the washers might go flying into the back of the cabinet when you take off the little C-clamp, and you don't want that to happen because then it's just a pain in the ass to go look for it. So what I do is I hold the spring back like that, so I have it in my hand, and then I take my needle nose pliers and I just pull up on the C-clamp, set it right down here, and slowly let the spring go. Take it off just like that. Make sure there's no washers on here. And pull the old shooter rod right out. We got our brand new shooter rod. Pretty much got to do the same process on it. So I'm going to pull the tip off, set that down there, hold all this stuff back, grab my needle nose pliers again, and take off the C-clamp, set the C-clamp down, and then slowly take off the spring so it doesn't go flying. So before you put this in, make sure your barrel spring is on. This needs to go on the outside of the game. And then just stick it through the hole in the shooter plate, put your spring back on. I'm using the same spring that was already in hook. Get your C-clamp. You could pretty much do this with your hands. And I usually kind of put the end of the shooter rod onto my hip, hold the spring back, and then put the C-clamp on. There's a little channel for it, and it snaps right into place. Then take the shooter tip, put it back on. We're good to go. Now all that's left to do is lower the playfield, throw the glass back on, and let's test this thing out. Now this isn't a hook gameplay video, this is us literally just testing out the shooter rod, hence why I have it at the weird angle, but let's go. Let's see how it does. We'll start off with a soft plunge. If you know how hook works, you know that's the skill shot. Soft plunge, get it in one of the 3 holes. So let's go ahead and see how it soft plunges. A little softer than I'm used to.
Good ball.
There we go, we got the skill shot. Let's go ahead and let it drain so we can get another ball. All right, ball 2. I'm just gonna launch the thing and see if it goes real far. I don't like that. It doesn't really have a lot of strength behind it. Usually I can make it all the way up to the top and do another loop. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I need a stronger spring for it. It feels a lot more loose than it usually does. I'm gonna try to go ahead and just launch it again. Yeah, I don't even make it all the way up to the top. So what I noticed about the new shooter rod is it is not as powerful as the original shooter rod I had on hook, and that's a really simple fix. All I need to do is get a stronger spring or just get another one of these little black barrel springs, and I think that'll do the trick. I honestly don't even need the shooter rod to be that strong on hook because the skill shot is right here on the side, these three little lights. People who don't know what a skill shot is or just newcomers to pinball might just go and launch the ball and it'll go right into the back ramp and crack the plastics, and I really don't want that to happen. So I might honestly leave it that soft just so when new people come over and play, I don't want them launching the ball and cracking the plastic. But other than that, it's a great shooter rod, really cool, adds a little something extra to the game. Hook doesn't have a lot of mods for it, so anytime I find something like that, just something as simple as a shooter rod, I add it in just to give Hook a little more something. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you stick around here on Death Save Pinball.